Pokémon Diamond and Pearl, released on the DS back in September 28th, 2006 in Japan, in North America, April 22nd, 2007. Diamond and Pearl are the first Gen 4 Pokemon games. They hold a special place in my heart. I grew up during this era and Gen 3. These games mean a lot. I love them. Do they still hold up to this day? Let's get into it. When you start the game, you'll pick a male or female character. The male protagonist on here, his name is Lucas. The female protagonist is Dawn. If you pick the male protagonist, then Dawn will be the professor of this region, Professor Rowan. She'll be his assistant. If you choose Dawn, Lucas will be his assistant. Your rival on here, his name is Barry. He's a good rival, good character. He is your friend. He lives in the same town as you. And so he's a little arrogant and super energetic. But he's not a b-hole like the previous game's rivals like Silver or Blue. When you first start the game, there'll be a breaking news story about a red Gyarados in a lake and it's causing havoc and all that stuff. And it's funny because that would mean that Diamond and Pearl and Platinum take place at the same time as Gold, Silver, and Crystal, or Heart Gold, Soul Silver. And I believe there was someone who worked on the Pokemon team, and like they shared an image on Twitter a long time ago, and before they deleted it, and it showed that Kanto and Hoenn, Gens 1 and 3, take place at the same time. Then there's a 3-year gap, and then Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum and Heart Gold, Soul Silver take place at the same time. So Johto and Sinnoh at the same time, and Kanto and Hoenn at the same time. So I think it's pretty cool. You'll make your way to Lake Verity, and you don't have a Pokemon at this point, and your rival Barry, he's like, yeah, it's whatever, we'll be okay, we'll be careful. And then you go there and you see the professor and Dawn or Lucas. And that's when they leave and they forget that they had their Pokemon in their briefcase. They left it behind. You and Barry go to inspect it, and a bunch of Starly come out and attack you. And that's when you choose your starter of this game. You can choose the Fire Monkey Pokemon, Chimchar. He's my favorite. Him and Mudkip are my favorite starters of all time. I love Chimchar, such a great Pokemon. You can choose Piplup, the Water Penguin Pokemon. And you can choose Turtwig, the Grass Turtle Pokemon. All the starters on here are so cool, and I love their designs. Chimchar is just the best to choose in a playthrough because all the advantages you have with him against the gyms and all that, but they're all viable. Once you choose your starter and win the battle against the wild Starlies that encountered you, the professor and his assistant Dawn, we'll say in this case, they'll be like, oh, you used our Pokemon? Oh, and then you think they're going to be mad, but they're not, and they let you keep your starter. Run back home real quick and tell your mom that you're going on a journey, and this is where the game really kicks off. Just like any other Pokemon game, there's lots of different cities and environments to explore, 8 gym badges to collect, an evil team to take down, and a legendary Pokemon to catch, a main legendary, as well as other ones later. You'll encounter many Pokemon in the wild or even in the beginning of the game. You'll find Bidoof, Starly, and let me just say Starly is my favorite regional bird, his evolution line with Staraptor. He just looks so epic and sick. It's my favorite bird type Pokemon, regional bird. And Bidoof, you can evolve into Bibarel or Bibarel, and everybody uses him as a HM slave, not gonna lie. But, it's okay, he likes doing that. Lots of different Pokemon. You got Shinx, which can evolve into Luxio, and then Luxray, awesome design. And even a pseudo-legendary, like Garchomp, super powerful dragon type, dragon ground type. So, lots of great Pokemon in this region. Lots of them. Very early on in this game, you'll run into the bad guy team, organization, Team Galactic is what they're called. And their whole main goal is to destroy the universe and make a new one and remove emotions from it. Their leader is Cyrus. He is very emotionless. And they wear these blue wigs, or maybe that's just their real blue hair. Who knows? It looks like a wig. But yeah, they're very, they're kind of just like Team Rocket. Any typical bad guy organization in a Pokemon game. They provide a good challenge. They all have like the same Pokemon, just like previous bad guy teams. But good challenge overall. And throughout the story, you'll keep chasing after them. And eventually they'll even like blow up a lake. And they're looking for the legendary trio on this game, Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf. So they're kind of more evil in a sense than Team Rocket, but they're both bad. The gym leaders on here are a good challenge, especially after beating Heart Gold Soul Silver, where some of the gyms on there just felt a little weird, like with the level curve and all. But the gym leaders on here, they provide a good challenge, and I love them all. And even like the gym leaders themselves, they're very iconic, like Crusher Wake and the Fantina lady, and even like the first gym leader. So they're all great character designs, and I love it. You got rock type, grass, water, ghost, electric. Lots of great typings, and that's why I said if you choose like Chimchar, you'll probably have like the best time throughout the whole game. But lots of great gym leaders. Also ice type and fighting type, so any starter will do, but definitely I love Chimchar. Something really cool about this game is that you get this wristwatch device called a Poketech, and it has a bunch of apps on it. It shows like the time, and there's different apps like a coin flip and like a berry finder and even like a dowsing machine. And so throughout the game, you could talk to many different NPCs, and even in Jubilife City, where their headquarters is, you could talk to the creator every now and then, and he'll give you more apps. And so there's so many different apps to use, and they're all little cool little side things, and it's just awesome to collect them. So very fun to interact with. Once you make your way to the second gym city, that's where you can find the XP share. It's right before you leave the city, near the cycling route. You'll see one of Professor Rowan's assistants, and he'll give it to you. When you play like Gen 1 Kanto, you don't even get it to like the 5th gym city, and you have to catch like 50 Pokemon before then, so they give it to you pretty early on here, just like Ruby and Sapphire. It's like the second gym city, except on Ruby and Sapphire, you had to do like a side quest to deliver something to Steven, so you don't have to do any of that on here. They just give it to you. And also in the second gym city, you can find something called the Explorer's Kit. This lets you go underground, make bases, set traps, and basically it's just like a giant underground area. You can go underground in any city in the game. You'll find these glowing shards in the walls, and that's where you can dig. So you'll be chiseling at a wall. You can choose like a giant hammer or a little chiseling tool, and you can find spears and shards and even like a firestone, a leaf stone, and fossils. And so in the first gym city, there's like a fossil museum, and if you have a fossil, that's where you'll take it to get it resurrected. So the Grand Underground is very fun, and I will say it's hard to find fossils. It will take a while. You could be digging for like an hour and you still won't find one. So Pokemon Pearl, the fossil that you'll find is Shieldon, and in Pokemon Diamond version, it will be Cranidos. I like Cranidos better, but they're both great. In Platinum, I think you only get one or the other, but it's like determined by your trainer ID, something like that. But once you beat the game and unlock the post game, you'll be able to get more fossils, like an Aerodactyl fossil and all that stuff. So you'll get like more fossils. But before you beat the game, you just get one for each version exclusive. So the Grand Underground is great. It's lots of fun. Just like Silver in the Johto region, your rival on there, he would always find you at the most inconvenient times, and it's like, oh man, let's battle. Same thing happens on here. So always be like ready, even though like the rival battles on here aren't like too bad in either game, but he'll always like bump into you when you're not, when you're least expecting it. So just be ready. The rival battles on here good challenge, and he's a great rival overall. As you play through the game and progress, you'll get more gym badges, visit more cities, and Team Galactic's story will keep progressing. As I mentioned earlier, they'll kidnap Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf at all the different lakes, the Lake Guardians, so they can try to control the legendary of your game, Dialga or Palkia, with like a red chain. Eventually you'll go to the 3rd gym city, which is where Team Galactic's headquarters are, Veilstone City, and you'll rescue Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf, but their leader, Cyrus, he's like, I don't have any use for them anyways, take them. And he'll give you a Master Ball, which is pretty interesting, because he thought like the red chain that they created would let him control the Pokemon, but like he could have used the Master Ball for himself, you know, so he might be a little stupid. You'll head to Mount Coronet, and that's where you'll go to Spear Pillar and battle the legendary of that game. After making your way through all these snowy mountains and fog and all that stuff, and battling tons of galactic grunts, even your rival on here, Barry, he'll come to help you fight the commanders, and then you get to battle Palkia or Dialga, and they can be kind of a pain to catch, but I did manage to use an Ultra Ball. I feel like with catching legendaries, if you get their health down, it's just not enough. You need to paralyze them or put them to sleep. I would save your Master Ball for Mesprit since it's a roaming legendary, or maybe even Cresselia. But yeah, lots of fun. This game also has a Safari Zone, just like every other Pokemon game. On here it's called the Great Marsh. And so basically it's like a muddy swamp, grassy terrain, and you can find lots of great Pokemon here, and like the most cool one that you want is Krogunk, and then you can evolve him into Toxic Croak. You can only find certain Pokemon each day, so unless you like skip the clock ahead on your DS or something, you can only find a set amount of Pokemon each day. There'll be like a second floor in the Great Marsh before you go out there in that building, and you can look through some binoculars and it'll show you like what Pokemon are there today. And I believe if you beat the game, the Elite Four, and come back, different Pokemon will spawn. So like from the national decks, I believe. So that's lots of fun. And there's like a little rail car you can take to travel to different areas in the Great Marsh quicker and save on steps so you don't get like wrung out quickly. So lots of fun on here. Throughout the game, there'll be different parts where you have to like team up with somebody. For example, in the forest, Eterna Forest, you'll have to partner up with this lady and help her like get through it. And then near the 6th gym city, you'll take a boat and you'll help this guy who gives you a Riolo egg. You help him get through that cave as well, and obviously that evolves into Lucario. And even in the post game in Stark Mountain, you'll travel with that Buck guy. So I think it's interesting that you like team up with people. They can like KO a Pokemon you're trying to catch, because in double battle wild encounters you can't catch a Pokemon unless one is already fainted. It's impossible to catch them at the same time, but that can be annoying. But you can always like take out your partner Pokemon. Like if they have like a Chansey, you can like take it out. Like, I'm trying to catch a Wurmple. But yeah, lots of fun. I like how they put that in the game. Once you get all 8 gym badges, you can head to the Elite Four. And also, something cool about this game is that you can shine your gym badges. So in the gym badge case, they'll start obtaining dust and getting dirty, and you can like clean them with the stylus. And then you can also tap on them to like make music. They all each have like a different chime sound to them, so that's pretty cool. I like how they did that. That's awesome. Make your way to the Elite Four and prepare yourself well. I would recommend having a Pokemon with an ice type attack. You're gonna need it. But also, Dialga or Palkia, level them up a little because they're dragon type. And I will explain why. The Elite Four on here is a good challenge, but the champion of this region, you'll encounter her, Cynthia, throughout the game at different points while progressing the story. A lot of people would agree Cynthia is the hardest champion of any Pokemon game, and I would agree. Not only because of her ace Garchomp that's level 66, but also her Milotic. That thing's a tank, and it uses that Aqua Ring to like restore HP each turn. Even with a Luxray at level 50, you know, that thing can still like take a hit. So I'll just bring a grass Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it knows Ice Beam, so that's not really gonna work. Her Garchomp is very, very bulky, and even with like Blizzard on a Float Soul, it will bring it down to yellow, but she might use like a full restore if it doesn't kill it, you know? So it's a great fight, and I would definitely agree it's one of the hardest champions. Definitely. And in Platinum, they have like a post-game rematch, and on there, like everybody in the Elite Four gains like a higher level Pokemon, so yeah. Cynthia, I would definitely say, is like the hardest Elite Four member, but once you take all of them out, they start off, the first one is grass and poison, I believe, and then the second one is ground type. Third is fire, not too bad. Fourth is psychic, which if you have like an Infernape, it can be kind of a pain, but that's why you want to raise all your Pokemon to be like an equal level. I had an Infernape, Staraptor, Luxray, a Float Soul, a Palkia, and I had an HM Slave, but I traded him out for a Steelix I found in Victory Road, so he's like level 46, so that's good. But yeah, just share the XP share between Pokemon, and you should be fine, but it's gonna be a fight for your life. Once you beat the Elite Four, you're the new champion of the Sinnoh region, and the credits roll, and now you get to access the post-game. In the post-game, you'll take a boat here from Snow Point City, and you won't be able to access certain areas until you get the National Dex, which you just need to see every Sinnoh Pokemon. You can go to Celestic Town, where Cynthia's grandma lives, and she'll show you like a photo of the other box art legendary from the other version that you don't have, so that's how to get that. You'll need to battle Mesprit, Uxie, and Azelf as well, and you can't really like I believe if you run from them, like you see them and you run from Uxie and Azelf, they might just disappear forever, so at least just try to catch them. But Mesprit will always flee, and it's like a roaming legendary, just like Entei and all that, so that's why I said save your Master Ball. But the post-game's a lot of fun. You got like the survival area and Stark Mountain, for example, where Heatran is. You can also get into the temple where Regigigas is, but only if you have Registeel, Regice, and Regirock, which you need to migrate from Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. You can also go to Pal Park and migrate those Pokemon, which I think you can only migrate once per day on Diamond and Pearl, whereas like in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, you can migrate as much as you want, so I don't know why they put a restriction on that. You can also like catch more legendary Pokemon, as I mentioned, Cresselia, which is like another roaming legendary. You can even find Giratina in Turnback Cave. I believe that's what it's called. Very foggy in there, but you just find your way around, find the 3 pillars. I love Giratina. I actually like him more than Palkia and Dialga. I love his design. The trainers in the post-game area are high level, and they'll give you a good challenge. You can also find like Kanto Pokemon here, some Hoenn Pokemon, so that can like help fill out your Pokédex as well. I believe if you have a DS, like the original model, with a GBA slot, you can put in like a Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire or Fire Red Leaf Green, and certain Pokemon will start appearing in the wild only if you have those games inserted at the bottom of your DS, so that's pretty cool. You can find some like exclusives, but at the same time, it's like if you have those games, why not just like migrate those Pokemon up, you know? But that's a pretty cool little feature. There's also like ball capsules you can decorate your Pokeballs with and put letters on them. There's like a little thing inside of this cave where the daycare city is, and you can find unknown in there. And I think if you find certain letters of unknown, you'll get those letters in like the ball capsule place. So that's pretty cool. And you can like decorate your Pokeballs. You can also go talk to Dawn's sister, little sister, each day, and she'll be like, oh, there's a bunch of these Pokemon spawning over here right now. Hurry up. So I think once per day, like a certain Pokemon will be everywhere in that city or area in the grass, like on a route. For example, I found like a bunch of Absol because she told me to go to the route outside the 4th gym city, and there's like a bunch of Absol. So each day you can find like a different Pokemon from like another region, so that's awesome. Also, every single Friday, if you go to the Valley Windworks, you'll find a Drifloon, and so it's like the only way to get it in the game. There's also honey trees you can slather honey on, and only certain Pokemon will appear on them, like a comb bee, for example. So lots of different ways to get certain different types of Pokemon that you won't just find randomly in the wild. The soundtrack in this game is 10 out of 10. I love it. The route music is so nostalgic, and I love it, and it's just so epic. And the battle theme is like very serious, and even like the champion theme, it's like the best champion theme. It's so epic. It's up there with Blue's champion theme from Fire Red Leaf Green, that version specifically. The music on here is so amazing, and for example, Platinum, they gave Giratina his like own theme, so like the music in Gen 4, it's amazing. I love it. Diamond and Pearl are great games. I love them, but let's get into some things that might not be so great. The first thing I want to talk about is the lack of fire types. If you don't choose Chimchar, the only other fire type in the main story is like Ponyta. So if you don't choose Chimchar, that's like your only other fire type option, which is kind of stupid. Something else to mention is the AI in this game. I believe they randomly choose attacks. So for example, they'll like spin a wheel and then they'll just like pick an attack, even if it's not super effective. Like for example, I was battling the 8th gym leader and he sent out an Octillery. He used like a super effective move against my Infernape, and then like the next move he used was he chose like a very not effective one. And for most trainers in the game, that's just how their AI is. I don't know why. When you battle the Elite Four, they have like special AI, so it's like different. But most trainers in the game, their AI is a little stupid. So that can like kind of not be fun, but it could also be a benefit. Say you're like in a pinch and it's like, oh no, my Pokemon's about to faint. You know, you can kind of get like an advantage from that type of AI, I suppose. Gen 4 also introduced a whole bunch of new balls to use, like the Dusk Ball, which increases catch rate at night and in caves, and even the Quick Ball, which is like broken and overpowered. If you throw it on the first turn of a battle, it's most likely going to catch a Pokemon. For the exception of legendaries or like level 50 Pokemon in the post game, for the most part, it'll always work, so that's awesome. Something else you could mention is there's a lot of Pokemon in the Sinnoh region that are just new evolutions or new pre-evolutions of previous generation Pokemon. Like Munchlax is just like the baby version of Snorlax, pre-evolution. And then like Roserade is now Roselia's evolution, and Magmar gets Magmortar, and Electivire from Electabuzz. And even if that's so, and like the Happiny is like Chansey's pre-evolution, even if that is so, they're still Sinnoh Pokemon, and that's what I'll always recognize them as. And I think they're awesome. And the new Sinnoh Pokemon that they did make that didn't have previous evolutions, the new Sinnoh Pokemon are epic, and I love them, and their designs are so cool. Overall, I love Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Super nostalgic games that I grew up with, and I love them. Even though Platinum's better, and it added a lot new stuff, especially to the post-game, and even like an overhaul to the UI, and even the trainers have different outfits and everything that look cooler, I still love Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and they're great games. The remakes are cool, but they didn't really like fix anything with the original. There's like a copy and paste, but just go play Gen 4, either the remake or the originals, and I'll see you next time.